to scream. Okay, wow. Parley for the Ocean started 9.5 years ago. And I can't even say I started it. It started itself. I was in Europe and at an art show, Art Basel, and to visit my grandmother, because on June 16 is her birthday. And somebody, it was an actor from America, met me at an exhibition there, and she said, "You should go to Frankfurt. You're German originally, I lived already in New York, and you need to go to Frankfurt because a dear friend of mine is in your German prison." And I was like, getting interested. And it was Captain Paul Watson of Sea Shepherd. And there's Jay-Z in music, who was a drug dealer at some point, and he became a very big music artist. And there's Captain Paul Watson of Sea Shepherd, which also always had that flair of being controversial and not invited to official functions often, banned in a lot of buildings of in this world, but he had a TV show. So he was pretty much the only environmentalist I knew at that point. And something touched me in there. So I flew in the night to the birthday of my grandmother to Frankfurt. Met the guy in a little law firm. They let him out to meet me. And we were sitting there, and he explains me that the oceans will die in our lifetime. And he put a number out, and people are discussing this number, 2048. I went to the bathroom and Googled. The UN had a report back then out from Ben Harper and Boris Worm. Back then it was not contested. And actually it doesn't make a sense if it's 248 or 260 or 2100. I didn't really care. I just realized that there is a massive problem unfolding, and I had no idea. I called my partner in New York. We were running a design firm at that moment, and we stopped being a design firm that day, and we became Parley for the Oceans, because we could not continue making money, continue building our fame, being a designer, a gun for hire to make other people rich, while in front of our eyes the planet is going down. And it was a very simple idea. All the environmental issues we are facing today are caused by economic failure. And I'm not an anti-capitalist. I am born in a capitalistic system. I'm being given all my opportunities by companies. I've been treated extremely well by capitalism. The truth is, you can go one step further. You can blame the companies, you can point a finger, or you go into the bathroom and look into the mirror. And I felt the problem are people like me. Designers, scientists, inventors, creators. Because we invent that material, we design these products, we sell these products, we can influence opinion with our work. And that moment I decided I'm gonna put my services for the rest of the life, I actually thought 30 years, for the rest of my life in the service of the oceans. I'm gonna do whatever I can to fight climate change, plastic pollution, and overfishing. That was June 16, 2012. The first 10 years of Parley, we didn't achieve enough. I'm super annoyed. I'm bored. I'm like, every morning, I can't give the same presentation again. I can't say the same things. I'm now trying to give you a new presentation because you saw it already. Some of you saw it. It's getting, and imagine you're doing that since 10 years. It's getting really into your brain. At some point, you feel like a record player. So the truth though is, Parley for the Oceans was designed as a collaboration network to bring the best of the best together, to inspire and empower them to change the world. Because one person, me, one superstar, will not do that. I didn't say I'm a superstar, somebody else. Nobody can do that alone. It's impossible. But what you can do is you can inspire others. And I think the core condition really is, the precondition is that we actually care about the environment again. That we actually see that a planet without whales, dolphins, turtles, trees is not really a place we want to live. And we're seeing these places out there. And we even try to go there, to Mars. I mean, what do we want to do there? So, Parley for the Oceans is a negotiation of peace between mankind and the sea. And the idea is to say, we are approaching the big problems with optimism, positivity, creativity, and new technology. And we're going out of this old idea of like fear-driven leadership. This is the old economy. Come on, exploitation. We know better. Technology that destroys the ozone layer, destroys life on this planet. How old school is that? We know it hurts myself. Why would I actually use it? Why would I want to be a manufacturer, be in a golf club, in a restaurant with friends? How can I be proud of making such a product? It's not cool. And the idea of first I take it all and then I give something back is also outdated. I don't want to make my money with things that are dangerous, toxic, unless I'm a weapon dealer, which I personally am not. So old technology, a culture of exploitation, is all a fear-based, that's the past. I'm standing up for a new economy. So it's not only about plastic. Plastic is the symbol, the poster girl, the poster boy, the campaign to put the finger on the toxic age we created and call ourselves for drastic redesign. The future is positive. It's a vision. We want this planet to stay blue. We love this planet. Let's repair the planet because it won't be blue anymore for too long. It won't have life anymore for too long. And to be very honest, we are in the 6th mass extinction event. We are going down anyways. 400 species per event because we wanted to break this myth of recycling is bad. Well, how do you do that? You go to the best designers, you go to the best scientists or the best brands, you just rebrand the whole thing. Iris van Herpen, one of the best haute couture designers, used 3D printed trash from us in dresses that now walk at the Met Gala or at big red carpet events. Then we worked with famous architects to see what can we actually, there was Norman Foster, what can we create, what can we do in the architecture, what can we do in furniture, how can we use 3D printing to print stuff that doesn't even make it in the fiber because the quality is not enough. What other application do we have? And we created not only design objects, but also protection gear in the crisis. We used our industrial robots to print thousands and thousands of visors. Or Zaha Hadid furniture pieces. Or trophies for international fashion awards, which then landed in the hands of the most influential creatives. That created a new definition of purpose, of luxury. Today, purpose is the next luxury. This is what we achieved the last 10 years. And based on that, we can now go and say, where is true innovation really? Who is the most advanced out there? That brings us to nature. Nature is the future. So, bacteria, algae, yeast, fungi, mammalian. Who's coloring my eyes? Who's growing my skin? Perfect material. It even heals when I break it. Try that with a plastic bottle. Who's growing coral reefs, islands being grown by these little enzymes? Who's packaging grapes, oranges, bananas, these amazing thin layers that do exactly what I want, when I want it. And they fall apart and become nutrition when I don't need them anymore. Nature. The future. Yes, we are creating a multi-billion-dollar industry with ocean plastic. We're taking all that money and putting it into other things. And we already won. Big players in this country. But that's not enough. The future is in nature. And we can do all these things in the future, which actually arrived already, without killing these animals. Let's grow leather. Let's grow meat. Let's learn. What is this coconut doing? Oh, what can we do with algae? What can we do with mushrooms? What can we do with spider silk? Oh, we can actually make a shoe from it. Oh, not coming from a worm. We just sequenced it and learn and grow it in a lab and then run it on machines. How can we make leather? How can we cook protein and create silk? Again, no animal touched. How can we create concrete. The same way corals are being formed without carbon emissions ever used, or meat. And they're already publicly noted. They're out there. They're making already money, vegan. So that's the future, and we came to India to learn, to collaborate, and to unite knowledge, and to end the plastic crisis here. Thank you. There's another hour that I can talk about that, but I will not do that. Yeah, okay. I can do that quickly. So, when it comes to plastic, a vision was born this week. And that's the interesting thing. It was actually a reconnaissance trip, right? I was not meant, I didn't think I'd come home and probably I'd never go home. Who knows?
India is like that.
Yeah. I mean, I go to the Maldives first and then we see. So, the idea was to say, how can we first give a lot of people a new opportunity? How can we actually end the idea of the trash picker? Let's start where the most of the pain is and say, you know what? We're gonna hire 1 million of them. Not me, but we. Let's hire them. Let's start with that. And let's pay them $200 a month, which I feel already bad about, but I learned it is okay. Let's give them a $200 a month, and probably even like build a village system that we can deploy in the ways they want it, because that doesn't cost too much. Let's just take 1 million people out first. We're probably going to start with 10,000, who knows? But the idea is 1 million. And see what's happening when they actually suddenly have money, and see what's happening when we give them the tools. Not only to collect plastic, but sell it for an enormously good price back to us. Because we're going to pay them really well. They're not good at getting paid good now. But what happens if we give them the tools, or show them how to build the tools? And that's what I mean with low-tech ecosystem. We're building an ecosystem around the problem, because that's how humans, how entrepreneurs do it. There's a problem, I solve that problem, oh, it becomes a business. And then we keep the problem alive so the business is not going away. So, let's do this. This machine can be built by anyone, because we're gonna put the instructions out there. It will be an open platform for blueprints. Just build that machine. And then you can actually press that trash that nobody wants, because probably it's not PET, it's HDPE, PP, or even some bag material. Let's just press it in boards. Oh my God, they look amazing. Look at these structures. They're all different. Oh, we actually created a new building material. And you know what? That's not even good for the walls. This is actually good for something else. Oh, we can do lamps. Oh, we can actually do building blocks that look cool. And you know what? At some point, Jaden Smith, the son of Will Smith, decided to pay for this table $16,000. And he bought it through Etsy. He doesn't care where the artisan sits. They could sit somewhere in India. So that's the idea. Open blueprint platform, digital marketplace, which already exists, like you could even add to that, because you could actually create a Cyrill business in normal appliances. And then, of course, microloans for these entrepreneurs. So, and then, of course, and that's the other side, there is a high-tech version of that, where we're just optimizing the supply chain to the max. How? We don't want to know who is collecting that stuff. That's tier 8. No Adidas ever looked at lower than, in some cases, they look at tier 3 because they have a technology that asks for that, the PrimeNet. But normally they're looking at tier 2, which is fabric and product assembly tier 1. Oh, we're going to tier 3 yarn. Oh, we're going to tier 4, tier 5, tier 6, tier 7, tier 8. That is the person who collects the plastic. And you know what? I said to them back then, imagine that everybody who makes your product is in one room. And the clients. The kid in New York, 16 years old, paying $200 for your shoe. The kid from a landfill getting a soup a day if he brings his 5 bottles home. Do you think that this would go out well with a camera in their hand that goes on Instagram next day, or today at TikTok? It wouldn't. Suddenly, with the transparency that we have, it does matter what all these guys do. because I want to know what I'm buying into. What do I vote for with my wallet? And that's why we created a fully traceable supply chain. We know who collects, we know who processes it, and the moment it goes into a pallet, we have a tracer in there. You can read that out later. But in the shoe you can trace, and if you put the label off, you still can trace who made it. That's transparency. And then, deploy amazing facilities that are modular. Not like everybody makes their own recycling plant, everybody has a different quality standard. No, we define one quality standard, one performance standard, a set of codes. You meet them, we take your material for a premium. We give you that guarantee, you go to any investor, they give you money. That's the concept of Parley, and equipping the people that work with us with the best of the best and making it accessible to everybody. Thank you. Now I'm not adding something because I'm boring people. There's more.